about setting up a still life and lighting it. Now, there's a whole other video that we have with lighting your still life setup with, let's say, natural light, where you can place it beside a window. But we have students that work all over the world, and some of the students are very far north in North America, let's say, and they don't have much daylight hours during the winter. And so this video is designed to show you how you can use basically like a lamp or something of that sort on top of a coffee table or something like that. And you can use that to set up a little drawing and painting studio in your own home. Specifically, we're directing all this towards drawing, but all of this can be rolled over to painting, which would come at a later point. So with that, let's jump over to the actual setup itself. So I have right here a basic crate, and it's a milk crate. I got it from an antique shop. You can use a cardboard box. Now, I use a crate or a cardboard box because I have a lot of lights in my studio. So I have massive windows over here and I have lighting over there. And when I go to work, I want to be able to cancel out all that bouncing light all over the place. You don't necessarily need a cardboard box or a crate of something of that sort, but if you want, there's a very simple solution. You can even string something along the back. It's just anything to cancel out all the bouncing light. So next thing I do is I find myself a light source. So this came from a hardware store, really inexpensive and basic light bulb, nothing special here at all. And I will take this and I will clamp it onto something. Now I like these clamps because I can address the direction of the light very successfully with this, as opposed to when there's no clamp, you know, it's just difficult. So here I am, I just click it on like so. Now, what I'll do is I will hold it up. Now that's very flat light on my subject right here. And then if I go over here, I get some nice side light right there. I want strong shadows if I can get them. And so maybe something like right here. That's giving me some more shadows coming off to the side right there. So I might look for something with strong shadows like that. And then I'll clamp it on. I have in my studio right here, I have a video arm that's extended out. Now you might say, well, I don't have, you know, something floating off the wall. You could clamp a light onto a bookcase. You could set up a tabletop lamp on top of a bunch of books. Just get a little bit higher next to your subject. You just get creative with it. The big thing is you just want to be sure that you have cast shadows. And to do that, I'm going to start turning off some of the lights here in the studio. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, now I'm happy with these shadows that I have right here. And one of the things you want to keep in mind is if you go really low, you give something like kind of a scary look. If you go really high, that could be like very crisp and cool and clean. There's very little shadow right there with the light that I have here. That's a pretty good angle right there. Sometimes at a 45-degree angle, you can lose the top plane and the side plane are kind of like an equal value. So I usually go a little bit lower or a little bit higher, depending on which project. So for this one, I'm just going to go like that right there. I'm going to focus this, maybe try to get it even a little bit closer. And with that, I'm pretty happy with that setup. Now I'll click these lights back on. Now there are a lot of questions about the types of bulbs that are used in a studio setting. This is what I would say to that. There are very expensive lights. There are lights that are a little bit expensive, and they all have color correction. The word isn't correction. They have the ability to be skewed towards, like, let's say, like a nice gold or like a chilly blue white or something of that sort. People will ask me, well, what's the best light to use? Again, this bulb that I have over here hitting my still life object right now, that is just a very basic light bulb. I think it cost me $5. But I have up here, I have some lights that are, let's say, $100, and you can color correct with those, you can dim them. I would say to most users, start out with the basics. Run with the basics for a long time, and then as you start to artistically understand what it is you're trying to do, like let's say you have a still life setup that's very intentionally like atmospheric and moody, then you know that you want like a really dim light and you want it to be like very hot and like red colored. So you can go out and you can get that light They even sell little screens that you put in front of them, and you can light it like super red and then have it dim and kind of like murky. You could do that, but I don't recommend that early on. Just keep the basics and really learn the basics very well. And then afterwards, when you're growing in your vision as an artist, then you can start bringing in different elements like that with lighting. So with that, thank you so much. I hope you found this lesson useful, and I look forward to putting this all into practice.